Hello, my name is Rebecca, and today we're going to talk a little bit about climate change. More specifically, about how climate change affects real people, both presently and in the future. Sometimes when we hear about climate change, we hear a lot of facts about circulation, global averages, and hockey sticks. But what does this really mean about our day-to-day lives as humans who inhabit this planet? Well, the increasing temperatures on Earth are increasing the sea level, and that increasing sea level is encroaching on our territory. Our continents are getting smaller due to the sea level rising. It might not seem like much to people who live in cities like South Bend, but this rising sea level is going to impact our coastal cities in vast ways. Not only can cities close to sea level end up underwater, but hurricanes and floods will also become much more common and much more severe. Since this sea level rise is inevitable for the upcoming years, coastal cities need action. Luckily, many cities and islands have come up with creative ideas of how to cope with the rising sea level, and these solutions will shape our planet for years to come. The city that is most globally recognized for its climate action plan is Rotterdam, a city in the Netherlands. Rotterdam claims that it will be the first climate-proof city. It is the lowest city in Europe with parts even 7 meters below sea level. Rotterdam has constructed dams, gates, and drains throughout the city since 1958 to control water flow. But when these dams and dikes end up being overwhelmed, Rotterdam has a plan. In the areas of Rotterdam that are outside the current dike system, Rotterdam plans to install flood protection that includes things such as flood-proof buildings, construction of flood-proof public areas, floating communities, and buildings with nature. Inside the current dikes, prevention is focused on updating and revising the current system. The Maldives have constructed an artificial island, Hulhumale, to accommodate some of Male's population. Hulhumale was raised 2 meters above sea level to protect against the sea level rise. Other islands in the Maldives are following suit by participating in the Safer Islands program. This program selectively raises sections of these islands. Kiribati is another island nation, similar to the Maldives, that will be affected greatly by climate change. In fact, Kiribati is likely going to be the first nation completely inundated due to climate change. Due to the lack of infrastructure in Kiribati and the extremely low level, there is an almost definite need for relocation of citizens. Unlike the Maldives, this poses a problem because the entire population of the country must be relocated. In addition, the contamination of Kiribati's fresh water supply will most likely deem the country unlivable before complete inundation. Current plans to protect the country, such as improved water supply management and coastal protection, can only do so much. Thus, migration for Kiribati is a given. Most likely, Kiribati will have to make treaties with New Zealand and Australia. Two common strategies that are currently being used in the United States are linear protection and elevated development. Linear protection, or saving the current coastline, is the least costly of the sea level initiatives, but is only a temporary fix. If the sea level continues to rise, seawalls will become overwhelmed at some point. Elevated developments, too, have a fairly low cost, but are only a temporary solution. One of the least explored options is floating developments. Rotterdam has proposed to have floating developments in some parts of their city that are unprotected by the dike system. Cities in the United States have explored this option as well. Current examples of floating developments are floating restaurants in Dubai and a floating airport in the Netherlands. These are resistant to high tides and seismic activity, but these developments cannot work in areas with high winds or waves. There have been no developments of floating infrastructure on the town or city level yet. Citizens of Earth can expect to see floating developments built over the next few decades, though. Possibly the most intriguing proposed strategies is from Boston. Architects, city planners, and developers throughout Boston have proposed the idea of creating canals in many of Boston's streets, creating a North American Venice. Much of the model has been, how do we keep the water out? Everyone's afraid of the water, so we wanted to turn that conversation on its head and say, well, what if we let the water in? How can we make life better in Boston by bringing water in, says Dennis Carlberg, co-chair of Boston's Sea Level Rise Committee and Sustainability Director at Boston University. Overall, citizens of Earth can expect developments such as these in the upcoming years.